Hi! Have you ever wanted to eat food that was in a show or book? Well, if I got the thing for you, welcome to my show where I call it the Harry Potter Cookbook. Today in this video we're going to be cooking shepherd's pie. And you might be saying, what is shepherd's pie? It's a classic British dish that shepherds ate. It had like mashed potatoes on top, lamb meat, other stuff in it because it was a pie. So today for our shepherd's pie we're going to need some very simple ingredients. 2 pounds of beef, an onion, some spices like your salt, your pepper, garlic powder. Who knew they powdered garlics, right? Oil, because who cooks without oil? Potatoes from Idaho. They have to be from Idaho because that's what the British eat. Also, I got some vegetables like green beans and mixed. And you're gonna want some tomato sauce. And that's what you're gonna need for your shepherd's pie.
No, stop moving.
Oh my gosh.
Well, you're cutting his head off.
No, I'm dead.
No, it's not.
Stop talking, Luke.
It's not in the frame.
Hi. Again, that's not how I'm starting the scene. Joke's on you. All right, first things first. You got your potatoes. You gotta mash them and peel them and put them in a stew. Just kidding, not a stew. We're putting them in a pie. So you gotta do first, take a potato and you take Inspector Gadget Mobile and you peel them. This could take a while. Time lapse, go. One. I'm a genius. Dang it. I like to imagine that these potatoes are my enemies. And that's the only reason I can peel so many at one time. I can't help it, I'm vehicleist. What I don't like about cooking is peeling the scooter gang. I like good food. I can't!
I was like, what are you doing? Going to bed? I don't know! I was like,
Over you.
What is this, 20 questions?
from digging in that pond for all those hours.
Ugh. Tastes like sadness.
And go.
Step 1.1. Chop your potatoes into pieces. You want to cut them into like cubic inches. I already failed on this first one. So do better than I did. Time lapse, go. Cut potatoes. The movie. All right. Once you got your potatoes all chopped, you're gonna put them in a pot. And then once they're in a pot, you're gonna fill the pot with water. Once you filled it with water, you're gonna boil it until they're soft enough to mash. The end. All right, now that I got my potatoes boiling, well, they're not boiling yet. They're right there, heating up. Just try and stop me. It's time for onion power. This is an onion. And like Shrek said, ogres are like apples. Peel the onion. Get rid of those un-ogre-like layers. Place down the onion. Now, you're gonna chop up this onion into tiny pieces. Here's a neat trick. Use the layers of the onion to your advantage, and look, it's already a tiny piece. So make little onion discs out of your onion half. And you're like, ha-ha! Now you want all of the onion pieces to be about the same size because what you're gonna be doing with the onion You're going to be sauteing it in some olive oil. That didn't turn out right. That trick doesn't work for all the pieces of the onion. Note to you, viewer. I hate onions. They suck. I made a heart out of onions because my heart is broken. All right. So before you saute your onions, you're gonna boil your potatoes until they break apart when you press them against the side of the pot. And then you're gonna take them out, put them in a bowl, and mash them. Hence the term mashed potatoes. Now you can do this the old-fashioned way, which is very tedious and I don't like it. Or you could use one of those hand blenders. It's like, or a KitchenAid mixer. But who's got time to make things easier on themselves? Otherwise, everyone would be doing it. So you just gotta keep on mashing. Now, if you don't add anything to the mashed potatoes, they're not gonna look good. Or taste good even, because they're just potatoes. And who wants that? So, what I recommend putting into your potatoes is pepper. You're gonna want a lot of flavorings. So I'm putting a lot of pepper. I can smell that pepper. I think I put too much. And salt. And for you, geez, that pepper is strong. I'm sorry, it doesn't taste good. Don't put that much pepper. Now, you're gonna also add salt because salt goes with everything. Even ice cream. Salt your ice cream. But what I like to do, I learned from this from Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Hopefully you've seen Brooklyn Nine-Nine, because it's hilarious. You put the salt in your hand first, and then you put it in the food. Doing it straight from salt to food is like the culinary equivalent of unprotected sex, according to Brooklyn Nine-Nine. But wait, the potatoes still look nasty, even though they're all salted and peppered. What do you do? Well, I'll tell you what to do. Get out of here, chair. Not that door. This door. Get some milk. 2% or higher, because skim milk is for losers. Pour some milk in there, make it creamy. Stir that around. You add milk and all is right with the world. Now, if you're truly a person who is alive, then you're going to want to add butter to this. Surprisingly, it needs more salt. Make sure you're tasting your mashed potatoes as you go, because otherwise you'll get them looking all nice and potatoey, and then you'll serve your shepherd's pie to all your Harry Potter fan club members. Do they even still have those fan clubs, or eh? And then they'll take a bite and they'll be like, what is this? Freaking garbage potatoes on top of my pie. You call yourself a fan of anything? Wrong. This is my show. Take that. But I got butter right here. Now, I'm just going to throw in this whole stick of butter. What do you think about that, Jack? Think you can stop me? Make sure you wipe your hands on your apron after you get butter on them, because then you can eat the apron after dinner. Now, it's okay if your butter isn't melted at all. Your potatoes are hot because they were in 212-degree water for multiple minutes. And you're crushing the butter. Show that butter who's boss. Woo! We've done it. But there you have it. That's how you make mashed potatoes. That's what this episode was about, right? Don't have to go any further than that. Oh wait, we do. Prepare yourselves for sauteing onions. All right, so now's the part where you gotta saute the onions. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna put a pan with some oil in it on medium heat. Make sure the oil is all coated the base of the pan. Yeah, that used to be a heart. Take your onion heart. It's important that you do that part. And scoop them into the pan. And there's the name of the channel, Sizzlin. So you gotta grab a spatula. You don't want them sticking to the pan. You gotta stir them a little bit every once in a while. Some people would say occasionally. And you're gonna cook these until they're like starting to get translucent. You'll see what I mean because this is a video. I'm gonna change that one instruction about stir occasionally and say stir constantly so that they don't burn because this pan is getting hot. So the onions are looking good. You're gonna take your 2 pounds of meat. You're gonna throw that in there. Now you want to cook this, stir, making sure everything's all evenly mixed until the meat has turned completely brown. Since the meat was cold, the pan is also going to cool down for a bit, which means that we can let this sit until the meat is ready to stir around again. Next, this is where that powdered garlic comes in handy. It's not just for potions class. Now, I like garlicky foods, so I'm gonna go to town with my garlic powder. So now the meat should be about ready to start to stir around. You want to make sure it all cooks evenly so that nobody gets food poisoning, because that sucks. Something that's a good idea to do is to make sure you really break up all these meat chunks, because you don't want it to stay as that hamburger that started to cook when I first put the meat in, because this is a pie, so you're going to be slicing it and you don't want the different chunks to make it harder to serve different slices. So if you can get this down to sloppy Joe consistency. So our meat is looking done, so I'm going to take it off the heat. Alright, so you've taken your meat out of the pan and put it in your casserole dish. And this is where it all comes together, the assembly, if you will. I'm getting a word from my supervisor that hold off on the tomato sauce real quick. You're going to put in your vegetables, which for me is canned green beans. It's probably, you want to make sure you drain these before you put them in your shepherd's pie. And you're gonna stir them all together. Now I put the tomato sauce in. Yeah. One at a time. Because what if I didn't need all the sauce, they say. Boy, were they wrong. You always need all the sauce. I read this online. Here goes the second sauce. That was so less exciting than I thought it'd be. Sloppy Joe green beans. That sounds delicious. All right, next step of the assembly. Do I still need this? You're gonna take those mashed potatoes that taste delicious because you put so much salt and butter in them that they're gonna clog your arteries. And you're gonna make a layer of mashed potatoes. Bam. Save those for later. Next, you're going to take some cheese slices. I'm using Haverty, and you're going to make a layer of cheese. I have never chosen to eat Havarti before, so this is new and exciting. Oh boy. Now, you're going to take the rest of your potatoes and you're going to... What is that? There's not even enough potatoes. You should make a lot of mashed potatoes when you make shepherd's pie, or you'll end up with this. Even though there wasn't enough mashed potatoes, I'm gonna put more cheese on there and you won't even be able to tell. This is getting less British by the second. This is Mexican cheese. So you're just gonna hide all of the ugliness and failures of the kitchen with cheesy goodness. See that? You know it's good when you can. Now you're gonna throw this bad casserole mistake in the oven and hope that it comes out beautiful. For those of you wondering, this is 350 degrees Fahrenheit, and I'm gonna put it in until it's all bubbly. All right, so now the shepherd's pie is done. Well, let's taste it. Oh boy. First slice is always the messiest. The end. Happy birthday. Make a shepherd's pie. It's delicious. 10 big toes up. Like a loser.